Hello again, this is RRS General 18, and today I'll be doing my tank review of the Jagdpanther II. I've had a fairly good impression of this tank throughout my use of it. After I fully unlocked it, it's been great. We're going to go over some stats real quick. 1,150 hit points. That's not bad. It's more than the ISU 152, but less than most of the others in the tier. It's not bad, but you're not going to be able to take hits very much, as we'll get into in the armor later. 53.25 tons with my setup, with a potential of 61.6. Not necessarily made for ramming, but it can be done, as you'll see later on. But if you're going to ram something, make sure you weigh more than it does, or you will feel it. A 700 horsepower engine, excuse me, which is not bad. It makes it a very mobile tank, as you can see by the 55 km/h speed limit. And sometimes, especially if you're going downhill, you will reach that. It's okay to accelerate, but it is very mobile at top. It can move around the battlefield, as I'll show you. 38 degree per second traverse speed. It can turn pretty well compared to, say, the Ferdinand, or it's the T28 prototype, or even the T28, which are both very slow. 100 meters of hull armor, 60 at the sides, 40 at the rear. The armor is tricky, but essentially the lower hull, as we'll get into, and you're not going to be able to bounce a lot. The gun is very good, an average of 490 average damage. We'll get into that in a second. Rate of fire, about 5 per minute, which is not bad. You have about an 11-second reload, the way I have my tank set up. The gun traverse doesn't really matter because there's no real turret, so it's a forward-mounted gun. It has an okay left to right, but you're not going to be looking for 26 degree gun traverse makes a little difference. View range of 380 is not bad. It's pretty good for its tier. Now when you get into a tier 10 game, it's not going to help you as much, but at tier 8, if you're top tier, it's going to be great. So the signal range of 710 is you'll be able to stay in contact with your entire team throughout the battle. And we're going to go ahead and go over some skills. So on my skill, one of my first skills on majority of my crew members is camouflage. I find that this tank is very good at when it stays hidden and is not shot at. I have gone with recon on the commander because I want to be able to see targets before they see me if I'm the only one on a flank and I need to be able to spot for myself. Now, second skills, I've gone with Mentor for the commander. This tank, I will be changing that out eventually when I buy the Jag Tiger. But for now, I'm going with Mentor so I can get as many crew skills as possible. I've gone with repairs on the majority of my crew members, except for the driver. I went with preventative maintenance, which is about 60% done. The reason why is because German tanks in general catch fire a lot, especially if they're hitting the lower plate. They will catch fire very easily, so that's what I've gone with on the skills. I would say get 6 cents, but I don't have enough skills to get that over with yet. Other than that, skills, I would say typical TD skills for the moment. As for equipment, I've gone with camo net, binocs, and torsion bars. I'm with torsion bars. Just because unless you want to unlock the tracks before you unlock the gun, you won't be able to mount the gun if you unlock it first. So I went with torsion bars so I could unlock the gun and put the gun on there immediately, and then research tracks later. I have camo net, so like I said, I want to stay hidden, and I have binocs because I want to be able to see targets without necessarily someone spotting them for me. If you wanted to go different, the standard traditional way of gun rammer, aiming, let's see here. You can go vents, you could go rammer, and you could go gun lane drive, but like I said, this is the way I prefer to play this tank. The reload and the aiming time is not terrible, so this is what I've gone with, at least for now. If I had the credits, I would switch out the torsion bars for one of the two, rammer or lane drive. Let's look at the research tree. When you first unlock the Jagdpanther and you first buy it, you should have this one 105 unlocked, which is a decent gun. That's how I ground out the 128, was I used the 105. In a tier 8 game, it's okay. In a tier 9 game, it's starting to get a little iffy. I mean, if you have a side shot on tanks, it's great. But it's in a tier 10 game, it's not going to cut it. Even shooting the sides of tanks, you will have problems penetrating. But once you get this 128 unlocked, things become a whole lot easier with this gun. It's, as I said, a 128, 5.13 rounds per minute, average penetration with AP of 246, 311 with APCR. The damage is very good. When you hit somebody with this gun, you penetrate, which you should. They're going to feel it, and they're going to notice really quickly, because that's a 500 almost hit right off the bat. I don't use any HE in this tank personally, but if you do, you want to shoot, maybe shoot a carry few for shooting a Rheinmetall Borsigs, tier 8s, and the new Germans or artillery. We have 65 penetration and 630 damage, average damage, which is, I guess, good if you're shooting at those tanks. The dispersion and accuracy at 100 meters is 0.35, which is fairly good. It's not what you've been used to. With the Jagdpanther, I used the long 8.8, which was a very accurate gun. So coming to this 0.35, it's a little bit of a downer when you miss something you should hit, or you aim at, say, a comet, as I'll show you later on. You aim at a tank, and it goes off slightly and hits the tracks. Especially at the distances I play this tank, sometimes it'll miss, but it's fairly accurate. Aim time of 2.3 is not bad. It's run-of-the-mill, which it works for this tank. Let's see, this gun is also on the Jagdtiger and the Ferdinand. It's a great gun. So now so when you unlock this tank, you should have the engine, the top engine. You should have the top radio. As I said, I use the torsion bars to be able to skip the tracks, which is 15,000 experience, and so I went straight for the gun. I unlocked the gun, and I put it on there right away, and then I went for the tracks. The gun is 60,000 experience. It does take a while to grind it out, unless you got a lot of free experience lying around. I didn't, so I had to grind it out with the 105. But this 128 is worth it. It's great, and it's on the way to the Jagdtiger, so you have to do it anyways. The tracks, they do add some traverse speed, but I wouldn't say spend the credit experience on that first. But if you have to unlock the tracks first to get the big gun on there. Alright, so I'm going to pull up Tank Inspector, and we're going to go over the armor of this tank in greater detail. And I'll bring right back when we're in Tank Inspector. Alright, so here we are in Tank Inspector looking at the Jagdpanther II. This tank has two types of armor. It's got this lower hull here, and we have the superstructure on top. If you want to bounce shots, it's very hard to bounce shots off this lower hull. As you can see, it's about 100, 125 at best on this lower hull. Lower glacis, 130. Yeah, it's not going to bounce shots. Even this spot here, this machine gun port, is only about 60. You can take an AT2 and penetrate right there. If you want to bounce shots, the way I've found to do it is hide this entire hull. If you can hide this hull and provide only your superstructure and your gun, you can have a fairly good chance of bouncing most guns, especially when you're going against tiers 6, 7, and even 8s. But when you get into tier 9 and 10, where guns have 250 plus penetration, you're probably not going to bounce shots. But the best way to do it is to give them this gun and this superstructure. Looking at the other armor of this tank, the sides are not good. The rear is 35 in this back hatch, 41 around. But honestly, if you get someone a Jagdpanther on the side or rear, shoot anywhere, you're going to penetrate. Artillery, likes to shoot this tank primarily because it's got fairly weak armor, and high explosive damage is mitigated by armor. So if you shoot at this tank, the armor is not going to save you from artillery, and especially if they get a direct hit on the top of your tank. You got about 40 millimeters of armor up here. If they hit you on top, you're done. It's just there's no way to do it because they're gonna wreck you. Even if they splash around you, it's gonna hurt. They just don't have enough armor to mitigate splash damage, and that's just the way it is. So the way I would play this tank is play it as a sniper, play it in the rear as a support tank. Unless you can get it hull down in a very good spot, you want to play it as a sit back and snipe. That's the way I play it, and this is why. The armor is not good enough to bounce shots consistently, that is. So we're going to look at some gameplay, and I will show you what I mean.
Let's go!
Alright, so here we are on a battle on cliffs. We are top tier, one of 4 tier 8s per side. A lot of tier 7s and 6s, which is lucky matchmaking for us. And so here we are. I'm waiting to see where everyone goes on this map before I decide where to go, and as it looks out to be, I'm going to need to go down to the 1-2 and cover that line. So I'm going to speed it up here and so we can get to the action faster. And as it looks like the teams are deploying is a lot more tanks are going up north, or going to the water side, run the lighthouse, which is okay, I guess, for me. I'm going to sit here in these bushes and use my camouflage and try and get some spots on enemy tanks. And we're going to see what happens. We do have a medium in the middle, an 843, who is being gained upon by a lot of heavy tanks. So he's going to pop down here. And here he comes. And now we're going to try and help him out and give him some cover fire. I hit the rock on that one, so I did end up missing the KV-3, unfortunately. We are going to take a shot at this VK and finish him off and get him out of range. The KV-3 is still up there, and we're not going to get a shot at him before he disappears. He does take a shot at me, and he does hit and penetrate, and so I decide I need to get out. I need to back up and put more distance between me and him. I take a shot at him again, but I miss. Hit the rock again. I keep backing up a little bit, a little bit of retreat. Not much I can really do here with him behind that rock there, so I'm kind of waiting for something to happen here. And 2 misses so far in this game has not been great. I really wish I'd hit that guy. It would have been great in the long run, but I missed. Moving on. Soon there's going to be a KV-1S that pops up down here in the middle. Up there he goes, and we're going to take a shot at him. I have absolutely no idea where that went. But now he's seen me, and if he had had the 122, that would have hurt a lot more, but luckily he's firing the howitzer. The KV-3 is once again popped up, and he's going to take a shot at me real quick, soon. I'm trying to take a shot at that KV-1S, and there's my shot 1S, and now they killed both my driver and my radio operator. So I used my first aid kit to get my driver back. He's more important. And I decided it's time to move, because I've taken too many hits. I'm getting shot up pretty bad, and I'm not putting enough effective fire down. So I'm backing up here. I would like to stay and finish that 1S, but it's about this time I start to realize the amount of enemy tanks in the middle of the field, and so we're going to relocate to help our team out there. And as you can see, this is a pretty mobile tank hitting about 40 kilometers per hour on flat ground. And unfortunately, the VK-3002M just killed our Chaffee up there at the lighthouse before I could help him out. But we're going to keep moving up here, and we're going to try and take care of that VK before he gets too many spots on our friendly tanks here. Once again, if you're driving a Ferdinand, you wouldn't have been able to do this movement, or even a T-28 or something else, I take a shot there at that small sliver of VK turret. I missed. My accuracy this game was not very great. But luckily for us, he's decided to relocate down to the hill, which I will have no problem taking a shot at that. And now we're going to move up and help our Super Pershing, who's down by himself now. We're going to use our mobility and get in the middle of the map. Speed up a little bit. That's one thing about this tank, is this game is kind of boring a little bit. There's spurts of action, but there's so much moving around that it's somewhat boring. Anyways, we're going to take a shot at that VK, or that, Type 59. Leave him on 14%. He's going to keep driving. We're going to miss the second shot at him. I probably hit the cliff on the side there. I'm going to use this SU-100 to hide my lower hull, so that when he comes around, he'll have a hard time penetrating, and we'll have no problem putting one through his frontal upper plate. We just lost our Super Pershing as well, so now there's a T-34 down there on very low health. Oh, and we just took a bounce off our gun mantlet. I decided not to take the shot because he's side scraping. And this is where we play cat and mouse a little bit, and neither of us wants to go out in front of the enemy tank, and so we're kind of just hanging around here. Not much is happening. Pretty soon I'm thinking about going around the lighthouse, but I decided against it. I decided to bum rush him, which is almost not very smart. I take a lucky bounce. I missed, but I'm gonna reload before he does and put him through the side of his tank. And now I really need to get back to base because our KV-1S has just died, who's been AFK. The KV-3 is now in spotting chance of capping up. There's KV-3. We put a sneaky little shot to him and take a bounce off our superstructure. We're trying to hit him again, but we're not going to hit him. We're going to go just to the left of his turret as he backed down the hill. I'm going to try and move into a better position to hide my lower hull, excuse me. But the problem being is the gun depression is not good enough for me to get a shot down with hiding my lower hull there. And so at this point I realized the Nashorn has not been spotted in a long time. And if he was any smart, he'd be coming around to help kill me with the T-34. So I'm pretty sure he's going to be coming around this way, so I decided to go look for him. And we're going to go see if we can find him and track him down. And there he is. He puts a sneaky one down there. We put in a nice good hit, a 534 on him. He takes a shot and bounces off us. We go into the ram to make sure we can kill him before he gets another one off, just in case. Loses on 53 health. And I'm worried about the KV-3. He's got enough health that it would take 2 shots for me to kill him. So I decided to go head toward the enemy cap. This way forcing him to come to me. But if he does decide to start capping, then I have the speed and the maneuverability to get over there and reset. So here we are, starting to cap. And so far in this game, you've seen a lot of me moving around to get better shots on people and get out of danger and a lot of other things. But overall, this game has been maneuverable. That was the entire purpose. Being able to maneuver into and out of situations to help your team, give yourself the advantage on the opponent. And overall, it worked out very well for us. And we're going to take a quick look at some post-game stats.
Alright, so here we are looking at the post-game stats of the Battle on Cliffs. As you can see, we got both the Spartan and the Invader medals. We did hit a fair number of tanks on the enemy team. We didn't necessarily do the most damage, as I'm about to show you. The most damage our team went to the Super Pershing. We did a fair bit amount as well, but it was not the most damage I've done in the game. It was a fairly good result. We ended up winning at the end with the cap. Overall, it was not my best game, accuracy-wise. 15 shots fired, 8 direct hits. The ones that did hit did penetrate. Yeah, it was not the most accurate game I've had. We did receive about 3,500 in damage potential. This game wasn't about the accuracy or the damage output. It was about being able to maneuver about the battlefield, and that's shown particularly down here in the distance traveled of 3.66 kilometers, which is quite a bit. Overall, it's a good tank, being able to maneuver on the battlefield, as you saw, maneuvering to positions to help your team as best you can, which I find is a real good thing to do, especially in random battles. You have to be able to maneuver to react to what's going on around you. Alright, so that's one way to play the tank, and I'm going to show you another way, more passive way, and I'm going to pull up that second replay, and we'll get into that real quick.
Alright, so here we are in Erlenberg, and as you can see, we're driving our Jagdpanther II. This is mostly a tier 8 game with 1 tier 9 apiece on each team. We have a T95 and an SU-12254 on the enemy team. As you can see, that I'm driving up to the west-hand side from the southern base because it's a post 8.11 update. So the northern bases are now north and south, and I play this like I would play the encounter in my Jagdpanther II. I like to go up tier to the K1 and 2 area in this back hill, so I can support my team around the church. Or the castle, excuse me, actually. Not a church. It's not happy. Anyway, so here we are. We're getting up there, and we're speeding up a little bit. And we've spotted an enemy TD. I'm going to move up a little bit more because I want to get a better shot. Here comes a Comet. And our first shot hits his tracks. Unfortunately, accuracy was a little bit off that time. It went a little bit low and right. But we did track him in place, and now we're going to get another shot into him and do a nice, about a 500 or so. And we're going to finish him off in a second. And as you can see, I'm staying a little bit farther back from the. I'm not up in the front like I was having to be in the last game. I'm staying a little bit farther back, playing more passively, and I'm going to try and stay hidden from the enemy team as much as I can. Pulling back a little bit to get behind bushes, and I'm deciding whether to take a shot at the Jagdtiger, but I decided the Borsig's a bigger threat, and he needs to be taken out as fast as possible. So we put a shot at him, and he disappears, and he backed up. So I decided not to take a shot. I looked at the Jagdtiger, not enough shot. This 1-1-2 is a much better shot, and we'll take a shot at him and get a nice shot as he comes across there. And the Jagdtiger decided to reappear, showing his lower plate, and we'll take a quick shot at that real quick. And let's finish him off with a nice 520 damage roll. And now we're looking at this spot, and it's kind of not as many targets to look at. And we want to be able to help our team a little bit more, so we're going to move up there a little bit and we're going to speed up. Because there's not much left to shoot here. Our team is winning quite substantially. So we're going to move up to my other favorite spot up here. This hill is another good spot for, I think, TDs, and we're going to come up here. And there's the Rheinmetall Borsig again. We're going to finish him off. And now we're going to help our medium tank down there, and by putting as many shots as we can into the enemy TDs. The 12254 was kind enough to give us a side. We'll just take that shot real quick. And we're not going to be able to reload before the enemy team is finished off. But overall, it was a good result, helping our team push this flank. We're not going to be able to have enough speed and mobility, unfortunately, to get to the other side and do more damage. But as a passive scout, or as a passive TD, excuse me, we did quite well. We were able to help our team keep our gun in play, and overall, we ended up with a fairly decent result. And we're going to take a look at some post-game stats real quick.
Alright, so here we are looking at the post-game stats of the battle on Erlenberg. As you can see, we got the Tanker Sniper Award, which is the new medal that replaced the Sniper badge as of 8.11. And so this was a pretty good game for us. We didn't hit as many tanks as we did in the last game, but we did more damage to each tank. And let's look at the team score here. Overall, we did the most damage of the entire battle, I believe, with 3,263, which is a fairly good amount. It was not a good enough game as experience-wise as the last one, but 900 experience isn't bad. A better game accuracy-wise. We fired 8 shots. All 8 shots hit, which was really good. And we actually made a profit in this game. We took no potential damage, which is one of the ways I like to play this tank, if I can. Being able to sit back and snipe out of the view range of the enemy team is one way that this tank can work very well. So this is the two ways that I like to play that this tank is useful. Both of them are very good. Overall, I really do like this tank, and I hope you guys will enjoy. I hope you guys, when you buy this tank, I hope you'll have as much fun as I do. It's really nice being able to use this tank as I do. Anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed this replay. I'll be doing another one next week. I'll probably get the M3 Lee out of the way, seeing as I have that in my garage, unfortunately, and I'm trying to grind out to the M4 Sherman. But we'll probably do the M3 Lee next week, which will be a fun review if I can get a good replay enough. If not, we'll do something else. But take care, and we'll catch you guys next week.